All right, today we're going to talk about one of the biggest kind of invisible challenges in nursing, the constant, exhausting, and absolutely critical job of organizing information. It's that work that happens behind the scenes before every single important conversation, and it eats up a shocking amount of time.
Seriously, if you're a nurse, just think about this for a second. Before you call a doctor, before you give a handoff report, before you update a worried family, how much of your day is just spent getting your thoughts and all the data lined up? That's a huge mental load, right? And it's pulling you away from the bedside. So, to really get what this feels like, let's jump into a scenario that's probably all too familiar. It's late, you're exhausted, and the phone rings. It's the call you've been waiting for, but of course, it's at the worst possible time. And there it is, the physician's on the line. They sound a little impatient, and they're asking about your patient, Mr. Thompson, whose condition has been changing. Now, you've got all the info, right? It's scattered in your notes, it's swimming around in your head, but trying to pull all that together into a clear, concise report on the spot, wow, that is a massive challenge. And that 11 p.m. call? That's just the tip of the iceberg. As you can see here, these little communication tasks, they just stack up like crazy. Prepping for that end-of-shift handoff, that can easily take 20, even 30 minutes. Every single physician notification, another 10, 15 minutes. A thoughtful family update, add another 20. It adds up so fast. So here's the bottom line. Nurses are spending at least 2 to 3 hours every single shift just getting ready to communicate. That's not patient time. That's time spent just wrestling with all this information. It's a huge source of cognitive overload and a major barrier to the hands-on care that patients really need. So, how do we start to fix this? Well, this is where a new kind of tool comes into the picture. We're talking about AI. But look, this is not about replacing nurses. No way. Think of it more like a co-pilot, an assistant whose whole job is just to handle the tedious organizational stuff for you. The technique to do this is called AI prompting, and it's way simpler than it sounds. It's really just about giving an AI assistant simple, structured commands, basically feeding it your messy notes and clinical data, and boom, in seconds it organizes all that chaos into these perfectly structured, professional communications. So what can this copilot actually do? Well, for starters, it can take your jumbled notes and instantly whip them into a perfect report. It can structure a really complex patient history, make sure you haven't missed a key piece of data, and get this, it can even adapt the tone. Need it super professional and to the point for a physician? Done. Need it more clear and compassionate for a family member? It can do that too. So what you get is this really powerful partnership. Look, the AI handles the stuff that drains your brain. The systematic organizing, the lightning-fast speed, and making sure nothing's missed. And that frees you up to do what only a human, what only a nurse can do. Use your clinical judgment, show empathy, and actually build those crucial relationships. Okay, so that's the theory, right? But what does this actually look like in practice during that crazy 11 p.m. call? Let's walk through a real-world before and after. Okay, so we're back with our patient, Mr. Thompson. His oxygen saturation is dropping, and you have to call the physician, like right now. There's absolutely no time to waste, but you also can't afford to be disorganized. And this is where the magic happens. On the left, you see what's going on in your head. It's that mental scramble, right? All the crucial facts are there, but they're a total jumble. Now look at the right. In literally seconds, the AI takes those exact same notes and turns them into a perfect, professional, and most importantly, actionable SBAR report. It's the same information, just transformed from total chaos into absolute clarity. So how do you actually get that amazing output? It's this super simple 4-step prompt. You literally just tell it, okay, I'm an RN calling a physician. That's step 1. Then you give it the context. You list your raw data, and then you state your goal, create a concise SBAR report. That's it. This isn't coding. It's just about giving clear instructions. Okay, so saving a few minutes on one phone call is nice, for sure. But what's the real impact here? What happens when this scales up across your whole shift, or your whole week, or even the entire year? Just take a look at this comparison. On a typical shift, you could easily spend over 100 minutes just getting ready to communicate. But with an AI co-pilot doing that heavy lifting for you, look at that drop. It's incredible. The time savings are just dramatic. Let's put some real numbers to this. We're talking about getting back anywhere from 55 to 80 minutes every single shift. That's basically a whole hour you just got back. An hour that can be spent on patient care, mentoring a new nurse, or honestly just catching your breath. And that, of course, adds up fast. Over a typical work week, that's about 4 hours of your time reclaimed. Think about that. That's a half shift worth of time every week that you're no longer spending just trying to organize your thoughts.
Okay, now let's zoom out to the whole year. Get this. We are talking about up to 208 hours saved. That is a massive, massive amount of time that used to just vanish into the friction of communication prep.
And to put that 208 hours into perspective, that's nearly 5 full work weeks. 5 weeks, every single year. Just imagine getting 5 weeks of your time back. That time can be reinvested into direct patient care, professional development, or just plain reducing burnout. Okay, but this is super important. We have to use this tool safely and ethically. First, you have to always verify the AI's output for accuracy. Patient safety is number one. You have to protect patient privacy, so use anonymized data, never put in personal info. And remember, the AI is for organizing, not for clinical judgment. That is still 100% you. And finally, you still document the communication in the official record, just like you always would.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this quote right here. AI doesn't magically make you a better communicator. It just makes the mechanics of communication way faster so that your expertise, your judgment, and your compassion can really shine through.
And that really brings us back to this final, powerful question. So I'll leave you with this. What could you do with 5 extra weeks a year? Really think about it. The potential here for better patient care and honestly, for a better quality of life for nurses, it's just immense.